Leeds United have missed out on the signing of Julian Brandt. He's gone to Ajax instead of Leeds United. He's probably been attracted by the European football, which is kind of fair enough, but also I'm assuming the fact that he can basically stat pad in the Eredivisie is also quite beneficial. He's going to have an easier time in the Netherlands than he is in the Premier League, but this does leave Leeds United with a little bit of a conundrum to deal with, and the Whites seem to have responded to this by diving in headfirst to have a look at some attacking reinforcements, because those attacking reinforcements are going to be massively significant for Leeds United going into the 26-27 season. So in this video, I'm going to talk all about the sort of players that Leeds United are looking at the moment, the ones that we've been specifically linked with, find some patterns that link them together, as well as sort of the positions that we're potentially looking at, and ultimately get an idea of what that starting lineup is going to look like going into next season, because I think we've still got a little bit of variation to come. But before I dive into all that, subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that fun stuff. There are two buttons that you can press, and it's completely free, and it's absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much. Anyway, let's dive on in. So, Brandt isn't coming to Leeds, but the implication from that is that Leeds are potentially going to be looking at a winger slash number 10 kind of role. Someone that can play behind the striker and create plenty of opportunities. This is something that really we did quite well at last season. When it comes to an XG table, I'm just going to have a very quick count. Leeds were firmly mid-table when it came down to chances created. We were 10th for XG created, which is pretty damn solid. The issue is we scored 10.7 goals fewer than the statistics said that we should have, and I think there's two ways that you can solve that. There is improve your finishing, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes' time, or there is increase the sheer volume of chances that you're creating, and then by having more chances created, you've given yourselves effectively more lottery tickets, more opportunities to strike lucky and get the ball in the back of the net. And the first sort of three players on this list of targets that Leeds are looking at are those players that will create, that will make opportunities for others. The first of which is Pavel Šulc. Pavel Šulc is a Lyon number 10 who can sort of play all the way across the line and is a chance-creating machine. He is a ridiculously good footballer and will play basically anywhere along that line and will cost Leeds about £20 million. He is effectively the player that we will likely look to if it's not Brandt that we can get, and now we know that we've not gotten Brandt. A couple of weeks back when the conversation was, well, if Leeds don't get Brandt, then who are they going to get? Schultz was the first name that really popped up, and that makes me think that he's one of the names towards the top of the list, and we know that there is a list, because we've also found out another one of the names on the list, thanks to Graham Smith. The other name being one that is somewhat recognisable. Specifically, he's back. Igor Paixão, the Brazilian that is currently playing at Olympique Marseille. Leeds United had a bit of a sniff around Paixão last season and seemingly very much wanted to sign him. Had a very, very high fee, but Leeds were like, cool, we will absolutely pay that. We will reach what Marseille want. But, well, not Marseille, sorry, it was Braga at the time, I think, and we were in a bidding war with Marseille. We both bid the same kind of money, and through, I believe at the time, family reasons, Paixão ended up deciding to go to the south of France as opposed to Yorkshire. When it comes to climate, for a Brazilian that's been living in Portugal, I can kind of understand choosing the south of France. It's a move that makes a little bit of sense for him, but Marseille are now struggling financially, will potentially be looking to move on Igor Paixão, which is a very, very promising sign for the Whites, because a major target from last season is looking like he's on the move. He can play down the left wing primarily, but also likes playing in the 10 and can play on the right wing. And give me a moment, I'm going to try again in a moment. And these two are similarly met with another target that Leeds United were linked with a couple of weeks ago, being Rooney Bargi, who is a, I believe, Swedish winger who is currently playing at Barcelona, who can also be incredibly flexible, playing on the right, on the left, occasionally in the 10, and we're starting to see a little bit of a pattern here. They are all not only creators, but they are creators that are able to do so in an incredibly versatile manner across a line, and that's how I think Leeds United play best, when at least we've seen them, in that they're able to be very flexible at the front of the pitch. They're able to say, right, whoever's on the left can float over to the right, and then that'll make that fullback a little bit confused and cause an overload. Whoever's on the right, just pop up in the middle from time to time. That sort of switching about and moving and constant fluid motion is something that creates a hell of a lot of chances, because more rigid defences that are told, like, you're dealing with this player, get pulled apart by that kind of system, which is ultimately what we kind of want to see from Leeds United. We want to see that sort of creative, free-flowing stuff. And interestingly, it's not just Dominic Calvert-Lewin that we can expect those players to be playing behind, because there's also been a little bit of conversation surrounding number 9s that Leeds United have an interest in. So we all knew that Leeds had a link with Carlos Espy, who had, I believe, a €25 million release clause. However, that €25 million release clause seems to at least be on the way out, since, Real Madrid want to sign him, and if Real Madrid come calling and you're a Spanish footballer, is he Spanish? I'm not sure. He's playing in the La Liga. Then obviously you're going to say yes, because it's a sort of prestige thing. Yeah, sure, you're going to sit behind Kylian Mbappe on a bench for however many years and barely play any football, but at least you can say you wore the Real Madrid shirt, I guess. He was sort of one player that indicated a rough trend in terms of what Leeds will be looking at, because there have been a couple of other players that Leeds have been linked with. I believe it's Nicolo Tresoldi that is the Club Brugge centre forward. Fantastic player. I believe played something like 44 matches last season. Got something like a goal involvement every other game, which is incredible numbers. Club Brugge, however, are saying that they don't necessarily want to let him go, which is understandable because he's a ridiculous talent. I believe he's already played for the German national team. Would be nice for Leeds to have him, but he fits into that category of 22-ish. 20 to 22 is the rough sort of territory for Schultz and Bargi and Tresoldi and Espy, and next up Franquilino, who is another player that Leeds United have again been linked with. It all seems to be young, upcoming centre forwards that have a lot of energy, a lot of drive, a lot of fight, a lot of snap in the press as well. Basically, players that can not only finish off chances, which is the other side of the job to creating chances, because apparently the majority of sides in the Premier League underperformed their XG last season. The side that picks up a centre forward that is able to start executing those chances properly and putting teams to where they belong in terms of results is going to be key. And I think picking up one of these younger players that has that hunger and that wants to make themselves a number one centre forward in the Premier League is going to be massive. So I think picking up someone like a Franquilino, someone like a Tresoldi would make a huge difference to Leeds. So the strategy at the moment seems fairly clear. Sign someone to do the creating behind your number 9, a Pajau, a Schultz, a potentially Brandt, but not anymore obviously, but a Rooney Bargi for example, and then sign someone to go in the 9, someone to replace Calvert-Lewin if he gets injured, someone to fight for Calvert-Lewin for that position, because Calvert-Lewin plays best when he's being challenged for his role, and we can ultimately do that with someone that is young and hungry and really wants to make their mark on football. We can provide the platform for that, and hopefully we do. But as always, that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Like the video, that's always lovely. And yeah, I'll potentially do a live stream later. We will see, and I will see you all later. Toodaloo, amigos.